So you might not be able to tell from the look of things here, but today is supposed to be the brightest day for the next 12 days. After today, we're going to have nothing but rain in the forecast. And that is a problem for me because I live off of solar power and I'm just not getting enough power. I'm just really struggling for power. So the easiest way for me to get power is just to go chase some sun. So that's what we're going to do here. Gonna leave this area and hopefully find a little more sun than what we're getting here in Humboldt. So this was just a quick pit stop here to get gas. Since this is the cheapest gas near Eureka, where I've been hanging out. This is Bear River Casino, just in the next little town up from Eureka. And I've never actually stayed at the hotel here or gone in and played at the casino. Not really my thing, but I do stop here for gas quite often. Okay, I've just checked the oil and the fluids. Everything looks good. I guess that means no more stalling. I've got to take off. And this is a sad day for me because Humboldt is probably, well, not probably, Humboldt is the most comfortable place I've ever been. There are lots of places that I like to be, but Humboldt is someplace special, and whenever I get here, I just don't really want to leave. If it weren't for the power situation, just the lack of solar, I wouldn't be leaving. I would just stay here through the winter. I was actually hoping to stay in Seattle all winter long. That just didn't quite work out. And there's no real surprise here because as far as weather goes, the weather's pretty much the same here as it is in Seattle. It's a little bit sunnier here, so I was able to stay here for a little while, but my sun ran out, so we're off. And no, we are not heading towards the desert. The plan all year was to not return to the deserts, maybe even ever, and that's still the plan. I have no plans on heading to Arizona or anywhere desert-like anytime soon. And look, I don't mean to throw any hate against the desert. I grew up in the desert, born and raised in the desert, and I've lived in the desert for 40 years. I just want something different nowadays, and I feel better up here in the north. So that's the biggest reason, I guess, that I don't want to go back to the desert. There are some other reasons, of course, as well, but the big reason is I'm just happier up here, especially up here in the Pacific Northwest. So yeah, no hate on the desert. Not from me, anyway. Well, I should do my best to make this cohesive. Yes, I do live out of a van. Yes, I do live off of solar power. No, my engine is not hooked up to my solar system. They are two completely separate systems. No, I don't plan on doing alternator charging. And I guess that about covers it, I think. There are some reasons why I don't do alternator charging, and the biggest one right now is that my engine has some issues, major issues, and so normally I keep my driving to a minimum, but there are times where I do have to take a big trip. Like today, I've just got to take a little bit of a trip, and that gets me to some sun or gets me to some better weather. But as far as having alternator charging all the time, it's just not a thing that would suit me very well, because most of the time I drive 10 to 15 miles a day tops, and that is it. I just don't drive much, so spending a bunch of money on alternator charging is just not a viable solution for the amount of miles that I drive. So maybe that answers that. And hopefully I won't get any more questions about it, because it's a subject I just don't like talking about. I try not to focus too much on negative stuff, and I try just to keep my mind positive. And all of that kind of stuff is a little bit negative. You know, the van having issues and stuff is just kind of negative. The thing, though, that I think kind of gets lost in translation is that if I drive very, very little, even with having some engine and transmission issues, which I'm facing with this van. This van could last a long, long time. If you look at how much I drive over the last couple of years, I'm driving not even remotely close to 10,000 miles a year. And doing that means that my van could last a long time. At least hope so, you know, cross your fingers and hope. So that's my point of view with that, and that's what I try to kind of keep my mindset on, and, you know, deal with the issues when I need to. Oh right, I'm sorry. I forgot to tell you where we're going. I told you where we weren't going, but I neglected to tell you where we're heading right now. So I don't really know where the end spot will be, where I'm going to find some sun, since we're not heading to the desert. This is going to be just a trip to try to find some sun, but I don't like to travel too far ever in one day. So we're just going to head straight down to Fort Bragg and Glass Beach, and then from there I'll decide where I'm going to go. Maybe farther south, maybe east. I don't know. We'll just have to kind of play that by ear. But as far as today goes, I think we'll just head straight for Glass Beach and check that out, because that's not too far. It's a little over 100 miles, and it's going to take us through some really, really nice scenery. Probably shut the camera off for a little bit, and then turn it back on once we get over to Avenue of the Giants and show you a little bit of that. One of my favorite drives around anywhere. So I will turn my attention now to the road, and I did forget to mention that I do have my big mug out for road coffee, and we'll probably stop and make some more of that too on the way. Okay, so I've been driving along Avenue of the Giants for a little bit here. One of my issues is trying to record this. I usually refer to my phone as a camera because that's what I use it as, but I think you really need a real camera with a real wide-angle lens to pick up all this, because I think it just gets lost a little bit. Plus, it's just better to experience this yourself. So I just want to say, if you ever are in this area, please, please, please drive down Avenue of the Giants here. Get off the freeway and just check this out for yourself, because it's well worth the drive. Now, it does add quite a bit of time to your drive. Whichever way you're going, it adds quite a bit of time to your drive, but it's absolutely worth it. And if you don't have time, you will get a nice pretty drive even up on the highway, 101 highway, but it's so much better down here. And the great thing about this down here is you can actually park and walk through the trees a little bit, because that's the best way to get a feel for this area. Oh, it feels chilly, and looking around, everybody else has their jackets on, so I guess I should probably do the same. And I'm not in a real big hurry, but I don't want to dilly-dally too much on the trip here. But I think since we are here, let's just take a quick walk through the redwoods here, because we got to do that. One of the things that doesn't come across on camera, of course, is the smell of the redwoods. I actually buy some essential oil of redwood, and it's very reminiscent, but of course different, and it's more concentrated too. But being out here and just experiencing the smell of the redwoods, really something special. It's so quiet back here. You get a faint sound of some traffic every once in a while off of Avenue of the Giants, And you can also hear just faintly the sound of the Eel River right next to us. Other than that, it's just peaceful quiet out here. And as nice as it would be to stay, we should probably get moving on down the road. I think I'm going to resist the urge to make some more coffee. We'll just get back on the road and find another spot to stop and make coffee. I'm going to have to eat something too, aren't I? Later. Well, good news. I found some chips that I had left. Not very many, but it'll give me a little bit of something to snack on. I stopped at the store yesterday in anticipation of wanting some snacks today, but I couldn't find anything that was inexpensive. Everything was just outrageously priced, so I was hoping to find something on sale. I don't mind spending a bunch of money on coffee once in a while. Not all the time, but once in a while. But when it comes to snacks, yeah, I'm not going to spend a ton of money. Although now I'm kind of wishing I did. Oh well, I got a little bit of something to tide me over. Okay, I've got to stop and eat something. It is a little past 1:30 and we're not making good time, although there's no real need to be making good time. But I am hungry. We have made a little bit of success though, because we have left Humboldt County, and a little while back I turned off of the 101 freeway. We're now on the 1 and heading towards the coast. I think there's about 40 miles to Fort Bragg, but like I said, I gotta eat something or I'm not gonna make it much farther. So I should make something for lunch, but I'm feeling a little, I don't know if pensive is the right word. I'm just feeling a little bit off. So I think I just want to get to Fort Bragg. Part of it is that I don't really like taking long road trips. And this is kind of a longer road trip for me these days. I just don't really drive all that far. And the other thing is, I really don't like leaving Humboldt. Of all the places I've ever lived, Humboldt is my favorite. And yeah, I'm saying that I live there because, remember, I'm static most of the time, meaning I'm in one spot most of the time. When I move around, you know, I generally don't go very far, but, you know, when I move around, I get to a place that I like and I stay there. So I'm static most of the time, and I try to do all the things that the locals do. And so I do feel like I've been living in Humboldt, and it seems like it's been my home base now for a while. So I don't really like to leave there. So it's like I said earlier, it's kind of a sad day, but obviously if I want some sunlight, I need to move along. So just so that I'm going to get going and keep on going here, I'm going to make just a little, or cut up a little bit of cheese. I've got some Monterey Jack, and I found some pepperoni. This is some uncured pepperoni from a really small company called Zoe's, and I've had this before. It's much better if it's fried. So I would usually fry this in a pan and then put it on pizza if I was making a pizza. But today I'm just going to chop up some slices of it and eat some of it with some chunks of cheese. And that'll just give me a little bit to go on, and I can get back on the road. See, I think I'll put it in my coffee mug since I'm not eating any or making any coffee yet. I'll just toss it in here, and this is the easy way to go here. It is possible that I chopped up a little bit too much cheese and pepperoni, but we do have 40 miles to go, so I should have plenty of time to finish it off. This drive here is really pretty, but this road is really steep and curvy, And I actually, sometimes I get a little car sick, even if I'm driving, and I'm starting to feel that way. That was the main reason why I figured I better stop and eat something, because I thought maybe I'm just getting a little bit over hungry, and that's what's making me feel kind of funny. So drink a little water, eat a little something, and then back to the twisty here. But I'll just take a moment and admire the view while I'm here. Okay, we have made it here to Glass Beach. I wasn't running Google Maps. I normally do, but I know the way here pretty well by now. So I was just checking to see the time that it's supposed to take, and they're saying just about 3 hours from Eureka to here. And it took me almost 5.5 to get here. So, which is pretty typical for me wherever I drive. I usually go pretty slow. I mean, we did take a couple of stops there too, so that added to the time. But I'm exhausted. So we're not going to run out to the beach right quite yet. I need some food. My little mug of cheese and pepperoni tided me over for a bit, but I want some real food right now. Okay, I am going to make some tacos. When I was out yesterday, just making sure I had enough food on hand, I found some, I was going to call this ground beef. This is ground venison on sale. And it said that the expiry date was today. And so I almost didn't buy it, but then I thought, well, all I need to do here is just cook it all off. So that's what I did. I just cooked it off, kind of chopped it up a little bit, and put it in my little silicone bag. And that is going to help at this moment because I can just make some tacos really quick this way. So what I do is I just heat up some oil. In this case, I'm using olive oil just because it's what I've got. And I'll fry off some corn tortillas. I have some of these Sonoma tortillas, and I'll just fry them off. Is that hot enough yet? I think it's all right. I'll just fry these off quickly just to soften up the tortilla a little bit. And then once I've got these fried a little bit on both sides, I'll fill them with some of the pre-cooked ground beef. I did it again. I'll fill them with some pre-cooked ground venison and put them back in the oil and fry them off. That'll finish crisping up the tortilla while it's heating up the ground venison. And yeah, so that's all I need on that. This one, I'll do a couple of these. And then that way, I'll have some nice quick tortillas. Quick. I'm losing it. I'm losing it fast. I'll have some nice quick tacos. Yeah. This would be a whole lot easier if I was parked on the level. So all the oil is sloshing to the right side, left side of the pan. Boy, I'm having some trouble. I am tired. I'm not going to make it very long today, am I? Let's see. Let's do one more. I think I can get 3 in the pan. Might be a little crowded, but you know what? I'm hungry. I'm just barely going to get 3 in here. I am crowding the pan, but that's okay. One thing that I keep forgetting to buy is some cabbage, and that would make these a whole lot better. Sometimes I don't forget, but I get into the store and there's just a huge heads of cabbage, and I just can't get through all of that without it going bad before I can eat it all. So sometimes I don't buy it just because of that, but I need to get some cabbage because that would really make these good. But we will get some yellowbird on them, and that'll make them tasty. This will just be a few minutes. I'll cook them until they're nice and crispy on one side, then I'll flip them over and get them crispy on the other. And by the time that happens, the meat inside will be warmed through, and then I can eat something. Okay, I think these are ready. Those actually turned out pretty good. I was a little worried there because when I'm tired I usually make lots and lots of mistakes, but these are all right. I did add a little bit of cheese to them. Lost a little bit of filling in this one. I did add a little bit of cheese to them just because I need the calories today, although I'm kind of cheesed out at the moment. Sounds like a joke. Sounds like I was going somewhere with that, but I'm just, you know, with that little bucket of cheese I had earlier. All right. And I picked up some jalapeno yellowbird because I was kind of missing it. I haven't had it in a little bit, so I'm using it today. Let's see here. Hot, but good. Let me just eat these quick and then we'll go out to Glass Beach. Okay, let's go, even though I really could use a few more tacos. So there's just a short walk to get from the parking lot here down to Glass Beach. So we're just gonna go down that little trail. Now, Glass Beach is a really popular spot and it can get pretty crowded out here. I generally don't come out and hang out here when I'm in town. Not because it's crowded and not because it's absolutely gorgeous, but, well, let's go down to the beach and we'll take a look at Glass Beach and I'll show you why. And the waves are extra spectacular today, but it's always pretty up here. Now, right behind us here is Glass Beach. I mean, I guess this whole area is, but this little spot, you see everybody picking away here? That's Glass Beach. So the thing about this is everybody comes here and picks up the little pieces of glass. So there's not a lot of glass left. Sometimes if you see posts on social media about Glass Beach, it'll make it look like this whole beach is covered in little pebbles of finely worn over glass, and unfortunately it's just not the case anymore. I've never actually seen it with a lot of glass, but we'll poke around and we'll probably find a little bit here and there. So this is pretty typical of what you'll find here. See, there's lots of little pieces of glass, but they're pretty tiny and just not like I was told this would look like. Don't get me wrong, I don't mean to be a downer about this area. You definitely should come out to Glass Beach, but don't come for the glass. Come for the views, because that's the real story here. Well, I guess that's a bit anticlimactic, isn't it? I bring you out here to Glass Beach and show you that there's hardly any glass on this beach, but hopefully you can see it is a place you want to check out because it is gorgeous out here. But I am beat. I am tired. I just don't really do too much driving anymore, so even not a long, terrible drive like we did today, they really tire me out. So I think that's it for today. I'm going to go into Fort Bragg here, find a parking spot, and sleep for 10 to 12 hours. And I'm not kidding. Hey, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it.